How's it going, and welcome to The Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In this video I'm going to be talking about this, the Pigtronix Mark 1 distortion, or distortion I should say. It's since been discontinued, but I'm going to make a video about it anyway because it's an amazing piece of kit. But before I do, as always, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can be kept up to date every time I put out a new video. So, the distortion. This is the distortion. Okay, so I want to kind of pretext this a little bit. Every so often you come across a piece of guitar equipment, a guitar, an amplifier, or in this case a pedal, that is so powerful in terms of tone shaping and also so much has its own thing going on, as this very much does, that it becomes the sound of your band, or the sound of a record, or a sound of like a song even. But in this case, this pedal, which in the last band I was in, which was called Able Archer, which I'll post a link to our YouTube up here. This band is no more, but this pedal shaped the sound of that band. Combined with one guitar and one amplifier, this was where I got all my gain sounds from, and they're all slightly unusual, and therefore gave that band a kind of slightly its own sound thing. I used it for dirty sounds, I used it for fuzz sounds, I used it for unusual sort of fuzz sounds, and I used it for Octavia parts. And it was the only pedal I needed on the board for gain. I had this and some other modulation and delay effects, and it really worked amazing. But to kind of show you what I'm talking about, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the original video of the song that this pedal featured heavily the most, and it's called Ghostmaker. And I'll put the pedal on screen and show you what parts we're on for and how it was set for each part. So have a listen to this and you'll hear this pedal in action, being actually at the recording of this song. So here you go. So there you go. I used the overdrive for the main boosted dirty sound. I used the fuzz for half the solo with the Octavia on, and then the fuzz for half the solo with the Octavia off. And that was the way I did things in that band for so long. And as a result, the band started to get a really consistent sound. And it really worked very well for giving that band like a sense of sonic identity in the guitar parts, and it's amazing. Incidentally, this is the third time I've bought this pedal. I've bought it, sold it, bought it again, sold it again, and now I've bought it again specifically to make this video. And the other reason is, in my current band Kampala, I use the Pigtronix Mini Disnortion for my main sort of fuzz sound, and I'm going to be getting the Octavia and pairing it with it, which are both small mini pedals. I'll put the two of them up now. They're the two pedals that I will run in my current band setup for my fuzz and Octavia sounds as well, because this is literally just too big to fit onto the board that I want to put it on. So what is it? Okay, so what you've got is you've got an overdrive, a fuzz, and a distortion. The overdrive sort of has this low mids and bassy character. It's like this really fat sounding overdrive. I think it actually may be the Pigtronix Fat Drive, but I'm not sure, but it sounds very fat. And you've got like regular level gain and tone, and then on the fuzz section you've got level and gain, and you've got this filter switch, and this filter has 6 preset gain settings, preset tone settings I should say, which range from like no filter, a mid pushed filter, a mid, I'm not entirely certain. I'm not sure what the third one is, but I know what the rest of them are. You've got a high pass filter, a low pass filter, and then a muff sound. There's lots of different sounds available from this tone control, and it's all preset. And they are so different from each other, those different filters, that you can get like a plethora of different fuzz sounds out of this full circuit. And then there's a separate foot switchable Octavia circuit, which means you can have the Octavia by itself, you can have it combined with the overdrive, or you can have it combined with any one of those fuzz filter settings, sorry. And for that, this thing is just an amazing piece of kit. And then it's got one other little really interesting thing. First of all, it's 9 to 15 volts. So the more volts you give it between 9 and 15, either the more it'll compress with the lower voltage, or the more it'll be open and have high headroom with the higher voltage. And then it also has a clean output, which is not something you see on distortion pedals very much. That just takes whatever you put in, doesn't put any overdrive or distortion on it, and sends it out again, which has many various uses. You could use it as a tuner out, for example. I don't know why you would do that, because it wouldn't mute it, but you could use it to send a clean signal to a different amplifier, for example. I don't demonstrate that in this instance because I didn't do that in that band. So that's the pedal, and it's like trying to describe its amazing functionality, but it's much easier to show you the sound. So using the exact rig, or the closest approximation I could do I use with this band, here are the audio examples. Okay, so in keeping with the sort of Abel Archer sort of theme, this is the guitar that I played for the entire duration of Abel Archer mostly. I had a few other guitars, but this one was the one I relied on heavily the most. This is a Hagstrom Juice F. It is a semi-hollow, almost Gibson 339 style guitar, designed in Sweden, built in Korea, I think. It has a few headstock breaks. It's a good few years old. And it's a very, very versatile guitar. I made a video about this guitar and you can see that here. So this was a guitar. In that band I used an AC30 called a Tony Bruno AC30, right? Which was basically the front end of an AC30 but with a Fender Deluxe 6v6 power stage. So what I've done is I'm plugged into the Line 6D T25 and I've put on an AC30 model in the preamp, but then I have Class AB and pentode style power amp section, so it's kind of replicating that somewhat. And so the guitar straight into the amp sounds like this. So on the bridge pickup I can roll the volume down a little bit. So it kind of has an AC30 character, but it's a little bit warmer. And then on the neck pickup, which I've split into a single coil. Okay, and that was generally the way I ran this guitar. I kept the neck pickup, although you can put the neck pickup in humbucker mode. Okay, so bringing in the distortion then, right? So yeah, let's turn the overdrive off. I have the overdrive to start with set where I'd normally have it, right? So here's a clean sound. So the clean sound was always a little bit dirty. If I wanted to get it clean, I just roll back. Or switch to the single coil. Okay, but this overdrive has very much got a low mid sort of character to it. And that's what the gain, this is how I'd normally have it set, right? I'd have the volume slightly boosted, the tone slightly boosted, and the gain slightly backed off. And it really does have its own thing going on. And you can see it really cleans up, but you lose top end. Full volume. Great overdrive. So off. I'm not using it to add a massive amount of gain, I'm using it to add a significant amount, but it more changes the sort of power characteristic of the guitar. So exploring the gain range, bringing the gain up really high. and bring the game back. And then the game where I would normally set it. So that's on the tone. Get a real kind of low treble. Or bring the tone up pretty high. So even the tone has its own sort of sweep going on, you know? It's a really great pedal. And that was very much my sort of overdriven or standard kind of distorted sound for that band. Then we would come into the fuzz. So starting on this first fuzz position, which is like the no filter position. Just like a distortion-y kind of fuzz. Neck pickup. So I'm bringing it on to the second position, which was the mid-push position on the back pickup. It's a brilliant distortion sound. Third position, which was the sort of low pass position, I think. Not really as useful as the other two, and then you go on to this fifth position, which high pass, and it's very good for like an effect thing. So could literally turn the overdrive on, turn the fuzz off. Back into the verse maybe. That really served great as like an effect, you know, to make a part really stand out in a sort of less powerful and different kind of way. Then the fifth setting, as far as I remember, was the kind of big muff setting. Great sounding. You can then combine it with the overdrive. Okay, and then the last setting was this low pass setting, if I remember correctly. Again, like really useful as an effect. It's very, very pronounced filtering sound. Normally, I would either leave it on the first setting, the second setting, push one, or the big muff setting. Right, so then bringing in the Octavia with that, I'll go back to the mid setting for this. What's amazing about this Octavia setting is that it can do like really characterful low riff parts. starts to get a little bit unruly when you make the chords a little bit too complex. And then, so in the traditional sort of Octavia thing on the neck pick up at the 12th fret, Octavia works brilliant. And then interesting combination, the Octavia with the overdrive. Again, that effect thing. So, as you can see, as a sort of main source of tone for an entire record or entire band's like phase, something like this Disnortion has so many different sounds on board, and in this case, because Pigtronix are so brilliant at what they do, it has bags of character to allow you to get sounds that if you use them repeatedly on that record will give that record a sound. So this guitar, which sounds slightly unusual, I think, paired with that amp and paired with this pedal, really helped shape the sound of that band into something that felt like it had an identity, and that's what pedals like this are brilliant for. So, with this video, I really wanted to talk about the fact that you come across pedals like this every so often that are just really inspiration boxes tonally, and this is just an amazing pedal. Like I said, they're not made anymore, not to the best of my knowledge, but they're all over the place. You can pick them up secondhand, no problem. It's big, but it does take the place of an overdrive, fuzz and Octavia pedal on your board, and it does all three of those things really, really well. And if it's too big, you could just get the Disnortion Micro and the Octavia, and it would sort of do the same thing. I don't think it does exactly the same thing, because the overdrive and distortion are not individually foot switchable on the Micro Disnortion. But if you can get one of these, try it out. If you play rock music or alternative rock music and you want to have some sort of distinctive flavour to what you're doing, this is a great pedal to start with to achieve that. So there you go, the Disnortion Mark 1, I suppose, from Pigtronix, a really, really amazing tone shaping tool. So thanks for watching. If you've gotten this far, I really appreciate it. If you have watched this far and you have any thoughts on the pedal, please drop them in the comment section below. And please like and subscribe, I guess, and I'll see you in another video again soon. Cheers, bye bye.